Walk into any big box electronics store in 2025, and it doesn't feel like shopping for a TV. It feels like walking into a tech casino. Walls of glowing panels scream for attention. Sports on one screen, explosions on another, neon skylines on a third. Every tag shouts the same promise in slightly different words. Best for movies, best for gaming, best for sports. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody in that aisle tells you. A TV that looks incredible in the store can absolutely disappoint at home. The movie beast suddenly chokes on fast football plays. The gamer's dream turns your late-night Netflix into a dim, washed-out mess. And some of the most expensive TVs we lived with this year? They failed in ways that would honestly make you angry if you saw the side-by-side. So we did what we always do here on Appliance Trap. We bought them, we measured them, and we actually lived with them. Movies, sports, gaming, bright rooms, dark rooms, no sponsorships. Just real-world winners ranked from good but flawed to this screen that actually earns its spot on your wall. By the end of this video, you'll know which TV actually balances all three: cinematic movies, fast, clean sports, and elite gaming performance. So you buy one screen that works for the next 5 to 7 years, not just the first week out of the box. Let's start at the bottom of the top. Number 7. TCL QM6K, the promising rookie with real limitations. On paper, TCL wants the QM6K to be the $700 mini LED miracle. Mini LED backlight, 500-plus local dimming zones, Dolby Vision support, 4K 144 Hz with VRR. Read only the box and you'd ask, why spend more? In a dark room, contrast is fine. Not embarrassing, not mind-blowing. But the moment you throw up bright objects on black, starry skies, end credits, logos, the illusion cracks. You see halos around subtitles, glow around white text, little light clouds around bright objects. That's blooming, and once you notice it, you can't unsee it. For sports, the 144 Hz panel is the hero. Basketball, hockey, quick pans across the field. Motion is smoother than you'd expect at this price. But overall, brightness is only okay. In a bright living room with windows, the picture can look tired and a bit flat. Off-angle viewing is another reality check. Sit dead center, and it's decent. Slide to the side on a sectional, and the picture washes out fast. Colors fade, blacks go gray, and that premium look disappears. Gaming is where the QM6K makes its strongest argument. 4K 144 Hz, VRR, input lag around 10 milliseconds. If you play fast shooters or racers, you won't feel like the TV is holding you back. One viewer summed it up: great for the price, until movie night in a dark room. Then the blooming drives me crazy. Who is the TCL QM6K for? Someone on a tight budget who can keep the room fairly dark, usually sits front and center, and cares more about gaming and casual streaming than reference-grade cinema. It's a talented rookie, but if you're picky about black levels or have a wide seating area, you'll hit its ceiling quickly. Number 6. Hisense U8N, the value brawler that swings above its weight. Hisense has been climbing the ladder, and with the U8N around the $1,000 mark, they walked straight into the mid-range ring and started swinging at brands that cost more. For HDR, this thing gets legitimately bright, up to roughly 2,000 nits in the right highlights. Streetlights, explosions, sunlight, they actually pop instead of just turning white. Local dimming is surprisingly controlled at this price. Throw on a dark thriller, and you still see detail in shadows, instead of a muddy gray smear. For sports, the U8N is a daytime monster. Motion handling is solid. Panning shots stay sharp. The panel has enough punch that you can watch Sunday football with the blinds open. This is where Hisense separates from cheaper sets. It stays watchable when real-world sunlight hits the screen. Gaming is another strong point. 4K 144 Hz, low input lag, VRR that behaves on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. One owner told us, "I expected a budget compromise. It ended up making my old flagship look outdated." The catch is familiar. Viewing angles. Sit in the center. It looks great. Move off to the side and colors desaturate, contrast drops, and the image loses impact. So who should actually buy the U8N? Single main seating position or tight couch setup? Bright room where you need real HDR punch. You want strong gaming and movies without paying Sony or LG OLED prices. If that's your setup, the U8N is a dangerous value pick. If your room is a wide, theater-style space with seats everywhere, keep watching. Number 5. Samsung QM9D Neo QLED. The daytime sports killer with a split personality. Samsung's Neo QLED line worships brightness, and the QM9D at around $1,800 is no exception. Its superpower is simple: bright rooms and live sports. The anti-glare coating is one of the best around. Put this in a sunny living room with windows and lamps everywhere. It still cuts through. Football, NBA, Formula One, daytime news. The screen stays readable instead of becoming a mirror. For an LCD, black levels are respectable. Local dimming keeps most scenes under control, and in movie mode, HDR can look genuinely impressive. But flip into game mode, and the personality changes. A lot of owners notice the same thing. HDR tone mapping shifts, highlights lose some punch, the image looks flatter than it did in movie mode. Gaming performance itself is snappy. Low input lag, fast response, 120 Hz support, no issues there. The problem is consistency. You pay for a premium TV and it feels like you're getting two different pictures depending on the mode. One viewer described it like this: amazing for Sunday football with every light on. Mildly disappointing when I fire up my PS5 at night. Who is the QM9D right for? Bright living rooms, sports-heavy households, people who care more about daytime performance and reflections than darkroom cinema. If you want a TV that shrugs at sunlight, it's fantastic. If you want perfect HDR movies and gaming at night, this isn't the one-screen solution. Number 4. TCL QM8K, the mini LED flamethrower for real-world living rooms. If the QM6K is the rookie, the QM8K is TCL walking in with a championship belt. Around $1,300 depending on size, and on paper it reads like a dare. Peak brightness up to roughly 5,000 nits, dense mini LED dimming zones, a panel that improves off-axis viewing, full 4K 144 Hz with VRR and low latency. In practice, here's what that means. In a bright room, this thing is a weapon. Daytime football, soccer, golf, talk shows. It doesn't just survive glare, it punches through it. Grass looks electric, jerseys pop, scoreboards stay clean. The dimming system does a good job for an LCD this bright. You still see some haloing in tough scenes, but it's far better controlled than budget mini LEDs. The upgraded panel means you don't have to sit dead center. Sit a bit off to the side and the image still looks strong. Not OLED perfect, but no longer center or bust like older TCLs. Gaming is where a lot of people fall in love with the QM8K, 4K 144 Hz, wide VRR range, input lag low enough for serious multiplayer. It feels like a giant gaming monitor that also happens to be a TV. One owner told us, "I watch football with the blinds open, then jump into competitive shooters. The TV never feels like the limit." Is it perfect? No. In a fully dark theater-style room, that extreme brightness matters less. At that point, you're paying for punch you don't really need, and OLED starts making a stronger emotional case. But for a mixed-use family room, daytime sports, streaming, gaming, kids, lights on, life happening, the QM8K is one of the best performance per dollar deals right now. Number 3. Hisense UX, the oversized sledgehammer for people who want a wall of screen. At around $3,999 for the 85-inch model, the Hisense UX is not here to be subtle. It's here to take over an entire wall. For movies, the UX is all about scale and punch. Extremely high brightness, serious local dimming, and an 85-inch panel that makes normal TVs feel like monitors. HDR highlights explode. Sunsets, city lights, laser blasts. They feel big and physical. From normal seating distance, contrast can rival high-end LEDs and scratch at what people love about OLED. Sports on an 85-inch UX are exactly what you think. Stadium-level brightness, huge image, motion that holds together well enough that fast pans don't turn into a blur. You feel more like you're at the arena than on the couch. Gaming gives you 4K 120Hz, VRR, low enough input lag for most players. It's not the single fastest panel on Earth, but unless you're playing for prize money, you won't be blaming the TV. There are real-world trade-offs. You need space, you need a strong wall mount or serious furniture, and you need to be okay with the TV becoming the focal point of your home. The UX isn't a sensible choice. It's for people who want cinematic impact at home without jumping into projector setups. If that's you, the UX delivers the wow factor smaller screens simply can't. Number 2, LG C4 OLED. The all-rounder you almost can't go wrong with. LG has been carrying OLED longer than anyone, and the C-Series is their sweet spot. In 2025, the C4 is that formula refined again. Not the loudest spec monster, but the TV that just works for almost everything. In a dark or dim room, movies on the C4 feel instantly right. True blacks instead of dark gray, huge contrast, natural skin tones. Because every pixel controls its own light, you don't see halos around subtitles or bright objects. You just see the picture. Sports benefit from that same OLED magic. Pixel response is instant, so fast motion stays clean. No smeary camera pans, no ghosting around a ball flying across the field. And unlike many LCDs, you don't have to fight for the center seat. Viewing angles are excellent, so people off to the side still get a great image. Gaming is where the C4 seals the deal. 4 HDMI, 2.1 ports, 4K up to 144 Hz, sub-10 millisecond input lag, VRR, and ALLM support. You don't have to choose which console gets the good input. Everything plugs into a proper high-end port and just works. One viewer told us, "I bought the C4 for my PS5 and ended up rewatching half my movie collection. It made everything feel upgraded." Who should look at the C4? You mostly watch at night or in a controlled light room. You care about movies looking cinematic. You want top-tier gaming and good sports without obsessing over extreme daylight brightness. If that's you, the LG C4 is the safest all-round choice on this list. Number 1, Samsung S95F QD-OLED ET, the screen that finally stops making you choose. For years, Samsung's QLEDs were bright and colorful, but LCD could never escape one limit: no true black. With the S95F, Samsung switches sides, QD-OLED, quantum dot color on top of OLED pixels. And this is where it finally clicks. Price usually lands around the mid-$2,000, depending on size and sales. But what you're buying isn't just brightness or contrast. You're buying a TV that works in real homes. For movies you get OLED-level blacks, boosted color volume, a matte anti-glare finish that makes a huge difference in bright rooms. Most OLEDs are stunning at night and annoying at noon. The S95F is usable in both. Reflections are tamed, colors stay rich, HDR has impact without going cartoonish. Samsung still refuses Dolby Vision, but their HDR10 Plus tuning is good enough that most people never miss it. For sports, this is the first OLED that really feels at home in a bright living room. Plenty of brightness. That matte finish to kill harsh reflections. Instant pixel response so fast plays, and camera pans stay razor clean. Gaming turns it into a straight-up monster. Up to 4K 165 Hz, VRR, automatic low-latency mode, input lag that can dip under 6 milliseconds. And the big difference, game mode doesn't ruin the picture. On a lot of TVs, enabling gaming features makes HDR look dull. On the S95F, game mode still looks like a premium HDR image, just faster. One competitive player put it simply, "It's the first TV I trust for ranked matches and movie night." Who is the S95F for? Anyone who wants one screen that looks cinematic at night, stays bright and clear for daytime sports, and feels like a high-end gaming monitor when you pick up a controller. If your budget reaches this level, the S95F is the closest thing to buy once, stop thinking about TVs for years. The real winner, not OLED versus mini LED, but fit from TCL's budget QM6K to Hisense's giant UX, from LG's balanced C4 to Samsung's S95F crown. 2025 proves one thing: you're not buying a technology. You're buying how it feels to live with that screen every day. Bright apartment and weekend sports parties? TCL QM8K or Samsung QN9D make more sense. Darker room, movies first, gaming second? LG C4 is your best cinema plus console option. Want one screen that genuinely does it all in almost any light? That's where the S95F lives. Because you're not buying a TV for tonight. You're buying the panel that will handle every movie, every game, every championship win and loss for the next 5 to 7 years. So, forget the showroom buzzwords. Pick the TV that matches your room, your habits, and your budget. And let it quietly disappear into your life. Comment which brand surprised you most and what you're watching on right now. You're watching Appliance Trap, where we cut through the hype, expose the truth, and help you spend smarter, one appliance at a time.